For me, I feel as if feminism almost can take away the power of a woman when, you know, really and truly, you know, she should just, you know, stand in her glory.
And the objective truth is that the world has not respected the woman, especially the black woman, in the way that it deserves to. And for that, I could say I'm sorry. I don't think anybody wants to me apologise, but I genuinely am sorry because I think that I'm somebody who used to call myself as a feminist. And I still might call myself a feminist every now and again, to say I understand that the woman is and is deserving of equal status to a man, of course, of course. However, I think when we do a little bit of research into it, we'll see that it's a Western concept, that has the white male at the top of the pyramid, and then everybody is lesser than him as a construct. So then, therefore, the white women are fighting for their rights to be the same, and then we as black men and black women are fighting for our rights to be the same as those white men. But the objective reality is that in our societies, in African societies of past, they were matriarchal societies where the women were the head of the household. Much like in my household now, I might be the leader of the household, but the power lies with the woman, and shall always lie with the woman, because as Chinwezu speaks about in The Anatomy of Female Power, the world is run by women. You know, we as men are out there working as hard as we can, oftentimes to be able to provide for a woman. It's just the world has got both our mentals a bit distorted. So whereas we have a woman that is not fully understanding of her position in the home, and a man who doesn't fully appreciate his position in the home to be as a provider for that woman. So once we can get our minds right, basically, then there would be no need for feminism, because a woman will always understand that she doesn't need to fight for the respect. She'll understand that respect is as standard in the home that she's coming from, in the families that she is raising and was raised in. And a man would understand that he has no right to disrespect any woman because he's never done that, because that's not the reality in which he was brought up in either.
For me as an African woman, I think I don't have enough time to even think about feminism. I go for natural gender roles that the universe just put into our lives, in the sense of me as a woman, I have a womb, which makes me different to a man. And I think there's specific roles we have that come naturally to us. So I definitely understand, born in the West, I understand when a woman wants to be paid the same, she wants to be able to go and have a career, but to me, honestly, it's a distraction. And I feel like we should not focus so much on that, but rather go and see what me as a woman, what is my role on this, what is my purpose on this planet, and what is the purpose of the man, and stick to our traditional ways. So
okay, so what is your purpose as a woman?
My purpose as a woman is to bring balance for myself and my king and the children, which is actually the world, right? So for me as a woman, I think my purpose is to bring balance. That means, yes, I have a womb, and yes, I'm young. So first of all, it's children. Have the children, nourish the family, be there for the family. Not look outside too much. Yes, work for the community, live for the community, but I don't think about doing career, having a career, building a career. I don't know the proper words. I don't know how much energy I should put into it, because our people need us right now as women, and they need us fully. I shouldn't be outside trying to compete with men on a company that's not even mine, that is not benefiting any of us. So yeah, I think feminism, especially that kind of feminism that's going on right now, is definitely a distraction for us, and I don't go for it.
To me, feminism is a different thing about European feminism and black feminism, because in Europe you defined it with the career and stuff. But as a black woman, we kept for a long time very quiet. So if you, that's the time where we can speak out. Now is the time we can speak out. I'm not from a generation or not from ancestors who were slaves, but as black people kept slaves for hundreds of years, I think even in African countries, women are most kept quiet, and they seem like they are powerful and stuff at home, but actually they just swallow everything the man says, and that's was not right. So a woman have to speak out her mind, to speak out what she wants, and it's not about career. Career had nothing to do with it.
What is most important for me in a woman? Well, I would say who she is as a person. I mean, that might sound a bit cliche or ambiguous, but I think we live in such a superficial world. So then a lot of the women that I may meet or have interacted with in the past aren't necessarily with me because they feel like me and that person are supposed to be together. It's because they like the lifestyle I live, or they might think I'm good looking, or they might think I got good job credentials, or might like the fact that I got a house. I might be fitting in the categories, or then they're fitting in their categories, like they need to get married or anything like that, and then they're rushing to it, as opposed to just like be still and be with you, and try and understand what it takes to make you tick, and maybe see if they can be that person that can help, and maybe see if you're going to be that person for them. I'd say that's the most important thing for me.
I think sometimes there's man stuff and woman stuff, and we women express ourselves, or me, I express myself by being very emotional to everything that I do and say. So a man have to read me somehow. If you live with me in one area, in one household, then you can see how I'm going through the day, when I wake up, when I do certain things. And then I think he can lean on. Also, I see him, so we can connect in the way we drink in our tea or coffee.
Society, the way society takes is like woman's worth is like valued by the way she looks. And now, like, you can say, oh, generalization, and no, I don't, but that's it. A woman needs to be beautiful, and a man has to be able to provide. And that's the main thing. It's like somebody be like, no, for me it's important that a woman can also bring something to the table. But really, truly, the first thing a man is looking at is what she looks like. Where women, not necessarily. We don't know. Yeah, obviously you like a good-looking man, but that's not number one. It's so much easier for a woman to be with a guy that she doesn't maybe not at the beginning find attractive, but she knows he has money or assets. Than it is for a man to look at a woman and then think, oh, she's not attractive. It's very important that you the first look at a woman, you need to find her really beautiful most of the time. So I think, society really now, I have the feeling, looks down on the fact that women overspend or take it very serious, the looks. So they get plastic surgery, they use a lot of makeup, they alter their appearance to look as beautiful as they can, using social media most of the time, and for social media. But then you have the man that do the same thing, but they act richer than they are on social media.
Yeah, okay.
So, no wonder.
All right, can I just, first of all, I want you to just think about our people, the wider world, like we're all in a mental hospital, right? The men are mashed up and the women are mashed up. They're mashed up in two in very similar ways, but they have different manifestations. So if we talk about our sisters, we could get on to the brothers, but let's talk about the sisters, is the point that you made, in terms of having to put on this look. I think there's something very real in women that makes them want to be beautiful. I think I don't care how conscious you are, I don't care what you're going to try to tell me, I know that there was women in ancient Africa, where I'm from, in Nigeria, in Ijebu, in Lagos, there was women. They might have not had MAC powder and all those kind of stuff, but they were doing something to make themselves beautify and so that they can cast spells on a certain man or on the men in the community. Not because...
Even animals.
Yeah, and not because it's necessarily a bad thing, you know. And I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think somebody wanting to beautify themselves is an amazing thing. Well, I think we have in our cultures as well. If we talk about in Egypt, we talk about these big big wigs that the men wore as well. Men used to beautify themselves as well. However, that is not the test of your character, right? Similarly with men and money, you know, we've always been a culture that respected people who could provide. So the man who planted the most yams was the man who had the most wives. So that's just direct relation. You know, a man's worth has also always been had something to do with the work that he put in, not money though. I think the work that he put in is more important. Now, we live in a world that only idolizes money, which means that these men feel like all they need to do is look rich and they'll get girls, and all these women need to do is look pretty and sexy and they'll get man. What I think is the saddest thing is that our sisters always discover, and I work through this with the young people, is that the type of relationships that they're going to invite, based on the kind of men that they will attract, based on the way that they're presenting themselves, means that they often aren't going to get into the type of relationships that are going to make them actually happy. And it's very similar with the men. If you are just showing everybody and showing the women that you want to attract, in particular, that you have the money, when all they want you for is your money, and there's nothing really actually of substance between you and that person, then it's just inevitable that you're not going to end up happy in the right relationship. So
the reason why I think relationships don't last long anymore is because I think we don't have enough role models. We don't see enough that parents stick together. We just, like, to me, normality was to grow up with them in a single home, in a single mom home, you say, right? So I didn't know where the line is, like, how do you stick together? What does it even look like? And then outside, I could always see this. I heard someone say that it's canceling. There's a canceling culture. That means that if you say something that I don't like, I'm just out. I'm out, because there's Instagram, there's Facebook, right? I can just link someone and then say, or Tinder, there's Tinder. I was struck about Tinder. So you can literally see someone who's living in next door and you can just meet, right? So we don't know about the real struggle when you get married, and they say through good and bad, right? We don't know about it. So I feel like we need to look back to the grandparents' generation to really see what made them stick together. And it's not beautiful. Love and marriage is not always beautiful. There's times where you cannot look at each other. I'm so convinced. I never experienced that, but I know I'm ready. It's like I'm ready for everything to come, because they went through years and years of maybe not speaking to each other even, but that decision that we make, that forever, I think is lacking, because we don't know about it. We never learn about it. We don't know what love is about, unconditional love. We learn about conditional. You do this and I love you for. This I love you for thing is real right now. So to go back to I love you no matter what, yeah, that's where we need to go.
I believe that, like, firstly, we've had very much a lack of example, sort of black love. You know, like, it's very easy to walk out on, you know, a woman, a family, and just like, yeah, because that's all we've actually seen. Do you know what I mean? There's not many like relationships or marriages that you've seen from a young age that are everlasting now or still lasting now. You know, we've got maybe about 1 or 2 examples in our affluence, in our community. Also, what I'd say is that we live in a society where it's a lot of instant gratification. So unless things are here and now or getting here and now, like people don't really see fruit in the relationship or fruit in what the future looks like, you know. So like if things aren't too good, you know, like people aren't necessarily prepared to put in the work that it takes to get it to a position where you want to. So you'd rather just kind of dash and get a new bit of instant gratification, and a new bit of instant gratification. And this now lends on to actually a point that I wanted to make earlier, and it's great that this brings it through to just the physical and material nature of society and us as people. We've lost sight of our spirit selves. So it's like the initial attraction in which we were talking about before, you know, which could be the material, the money, the wealth, or just the physical attraction is what attracts us, you know. And these things aren't actually rooted in our values, things like love, things like truth, things like, you know, culture, family, identity, whatever that individual may hold true to themselves. So when you've only just met based on the material that needs to stay alive, you always need to look sexy and he always needs to have money, because if these things start fading away and now you're getting more deeper into the spirit of the person, now you might realize that I don't actually like this person. Our values aren't necessarily in alignment, you know, and that again could lead to breakups because like the initial attraction wasn't, you know, deeply rooted enough. And I believe those are a few reasons why our relationships aren't lasting, and people aren't necessarily just willing to try and work at them, you know.
I think relationships are not working these days out because we expect too much. We sometimes, I say, we talk too much. We should talk like serious stuff, not about every little stuff that we see or we think about, because sometimes you have to talk to yourself first and make it up with yourself and then start talking to somebody, because it's not just about talking out something, it's about how you think about it. Sometimes the person next to you think the same thing, but you have to talk it again and again and chew it. It's like a gum. You chew it, the gum since it goes away the sweetness. So relationships are nice to have, but actually I think you can talk with your mind without speaking.
So do you believe we over-communicate?
Yeah, we do over-communicate too much.
How do I want a woman to love me? I want a woman to, you know, be loving, you know, be kind, be nurturing, you know, because we live in a society again where, you know, as a man you have to be very, very masculine. Not that you have to be, but society creates that picture so that you step out, you have to have the best foot forward. You know, you need to make sure that, like, you know, you're protected, your family's protected. So sometimes when you step at home, you know, it's very important that, you know, a woman is just loving and caring, and you can kind of take down that tough exterior that you have to give to the outside, and you can just be, you know, your full 100% authentic self with your woman, you know. And also, you know, a woman that appreciates my mind, you know, a woman that digs into my mind, you know, allows her mind to be open as well, you know, to me, and, you know, we're able to reach understanding through, you know, deeper connections, you know, where we're learning together, we're growing together, and we are, you know, she's essentially just, opening her traumas, opening my traumas, healing with me, you know, growing with me, and that's really how, you know, I want to be loved, you know.
How am I being loved by a man? I'm gonna say it like this: I am being loved by a man that is very powerful and can stand next to a powerful woman without me needing to make myself look smaller, to be empowered, to become better, to become more every day. And to have room, to have enough room to be myself, that means that we all have sides to us that we don't even like about ourselves, but to have someone who loves you, and that's what I'm saying, to love you not for that good or bad, but to love you in the fullness, in the complete person that is in front, to be accepted and to be actually cherished for the things that are even maybe uncomfortable. So how I am being loved by a man gives me the strength and the power to be myself without having the fear to being left alone. So that security is very crucial, especially talking about gender roles. For a man to provide, and I'm not speaking about financially provide, but to spiritually and emotionally provide, is basic, is the foundation, so that I can have the security to nourish that environment that you call company, that I love so much. I love it. To nourish that company, to make it bloom, to make it grow. So I'm being loved by a man that's very powerful and who's not afraid to be vulnerable with me.
And you?
I want a woman to love me by loving herself. I think what is major key in our homes is that we see each other, truly see each other, and not bring in the world with us. And often is the case I found with my sisters, is that my sisters, because of they've had to be so strong for so long, they're hard to see themselves in a dynamic with a partner, and they're not still working as individuals. And I think it comes from a real love of self, that you can actually fully take on your role as a woman, which is literally the most difficult job on the planet. Because if we start talking about children, it's a completely different story. But so you can fully be absolute as a woman, and that can therefore allow me to be fully absolute as a man. So
I feel like we all have childhood trauma.
Definitely.
And sometimes, and obviously, the partner that we live the life with carries very similar, or not if not the same childhood trauma, because you attract each other for a reason. The same
Yeah.
kind of, that's just how it is. And sometimes I think we get lost in the fact that your partner is not supposed to heal your childhood trauma. You're supposed to heal it yourself, and the person next to you heal their own childhood trauma, and together you kind of like overcome that childhood trauma and go to the next level.
Yes.
So I think often we just look at somebody else and be like, oh, my daddy used to do that and you're doing the same thing. It's like the blame game, like you said, that ego thing.
Yeah.
Where really and truly nobody's gonna save you, not your partner, not Jesus. I mean, Jesus depends on how you believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
can't save you. If you believe Jesus,
Nah, sister.
Jesus in a Christian way, Jesus will not save you. But if you
Yeah.
believe, Jesus can mean many things.
Yeah.
You yourself, your inner God, Jesus. Yeah.
Let's say the higher one.
Yeah.
The
Will-
most high. Let's
yeah,
go for
will
that.
save
That's
you.
nice.
You know, you have to. But at the end of the day, you have to save yourself, and you have to overcome your own childhood trauma. And once you're ready to do that, the universe will show you ways. But
Very
most
true.
of us are so locked in our ego, and this is your fault, and why did I get a partner like that? And even some people know of their childhood trauma, and they're like, oh, my daddy used to do that, and my mom, this is what used to happen at home. Now I'm doing this, but just because you're aware doesn't mean aware of your childhood trauma doesn't mean you're healing it.
That's very
You
true.
might use it as an excuse furthermore.
That's very
Yeah.
true.
So I do also believe that sometimes over talking, over communicating doesn't solve anything. Sometimes you have to over communicate with yourself, like you
Yes.
said,
True.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
true.
rather than over
Very
communicating the other person and just cluttering that person with your personal shit. And that person is like, yo, now I have my own childhood trauma. It's mostly the man that suffer from that because we are the, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
just
then-
different ways, right?
Yeah.
I think he have to how do you say he have a childhood trauma too, but I think men doesn't talk so much about that because it makes them somehow the female. A childhood trauma is is a good point because yeah, I used to work on it. It's been now 2 years something, yeah, and
active,
it's
yeah.
yeah, active working on it. Yeah, it makes me sentimental also. But what I wanted to say is, you have to inform your partner, you know. But it's certain ways to inform your partner. The way you can blame him and say, "Oh, that's how that's how people used to be with me," or yeah, like treat me, yeah, like my parents treat me like this, and my other person, or you being like, you show your injuries, but as a person you are an victim, you know. You shouldn't be a victim. You just show, I want to heal that somehow, and since I want to heal them, you are a part of me as my partner, so we can solve it together. And this is the main thing what I have learned in these days, that your partner is your team worker, you know. You work with him out somehow on your trauma.
Yes, your partner has to support you in your healing, but he can't do the healing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do the healing, but just support me. It's like when you cry by yourself is one thing, but when you cry and somebody's holding you, it's that kind of same thing. The person can't take the pain from you just because he's holding you, or he doesn't cry for you. Even if he does cry too, it's not gonna make you not cry, you know. But it's just the feeling, like with healing, crying is like healing, and it's like, let me heal myself, but hold me while I do it.